All right, it's March 8th. Here's a quick recap of what's happening in the garden, in the backyard. So this is out the back door. So as you come out the back door, if you turn to the right, got several beds here. And the whole idea is that the chicken coop has no bottom. You pick it up and you move it from bed to bed each season, or ideally each season. What happens is I end up moving it about once a year is what really happens, but that's the idea at least. So got an allium bed over here on the right. That's got some elephant garlics way back in the back. And those are kind of cool because they make a garlic that's a little more subtle. But the garlic is like the size of a baseball. It's crazy when you hold it in your hand. It's pretty cool. So planted a bunch of onions here. They haven't come up yet, but I have a hunch they'll come up really soon. They're usually pretty quick. Texas bird pepper. This thing has found its place in life, and it is mucho happy. Look at all the peppers on there, and it's only March. Got some onion chives there, and then some potatoes. Adirondack blues. They call them blue, but they're really dark purple. It makes me so happy even just to look at them because that's just the coolest purple in the world. Got the ladies over here doing their thing. Again, I'm pretty much no weed, no till. Know anything that I don't absolutely have to do. And again, you know, move the chicken cage on top of one of the beds. They till it, they fertilize it, they debug it, they do everything that needs to be done. So basically, move the cage to the next slot and plant here in the next season. One last bed over here. Planted some asparagus for the first time. I absolutely hate asparagus, but my wife loves it, and you know, happy wife, happy life. So I've got 3 types of asparagus in there. I think green, purple, and then a green purple. They've come up amazingly quickly. When you plant them, they look like little dried up, dead octopi that have been sitting in the sun for too long. But you put them on the ground, 6 inches underground, it's amazing, poof, they pop up. So they're doing their thing. Got some red scarlet runner beans crawling up the trellis. Never eaten them before, so I'm curious to see what the flavor is. But they're supposed to be very, very good for attracting pollinators, hummingbirds in specific. And plus they come back every year. They make some kind of a tuber under the ground which stays down there. And so they come back every year, so you don't have to plant them every year. So if this trellis could basically self-seed itself or self-tuber itself, that'd be pretty fantastic. I do get tired of planting things, so if they would plant themselves, I'm all for it. Some more potatoes over here, red russet. There's a rosemary back in the back. I've got what's this? Some society garlic there, and a row of nectarine trees. We'll get back to those in a sec. So in the center, this little thing is rhubarb. Now I've never grown rhubarb before. I know it's kind of a stereotypical southern crop, but I'm not familiar with it. I don't know the flavor. I don't know the the growth habits and what have you. So I'm curious to see what that does. So there it is. Ask me in 6 months and I'll know. Got some nasturtium that's going to town. It's so happy. I got some begonia here. We actually do eat it. The blooms have a very nice tart flavor. I don't know if different colors of begonias have different flavors, but the pink ones have a very nice, real tart bloom, which number one makes your salad look beautiful. And then of course it tastes wonderful, and then it just, you know, people's heads explode when they find out that you're gonna feed them flowers. Got some kale over here that survived 25-degree Fahrenheit weather this past winter. That amazes the heck out of me. I used to cover things up very carefully and what have you. Not so much anymore. Lantana to help attract the pollinators. We've had some big giant moths right at sunset. They come out and buzz around this thing, and they're so huge they look almost like birds. I think first time I saw one, I kind of thought it was like a hummingbird. And I was wondering, why was he out at night? Got some greens. I'm going to plant some greens over here, some cilantro, some parsley, what have you. Those things need to get in the ground. I will do that this week. So here are the nectarine trees. I've got basically 2 12-foot beds, so 4 trees in a row. And the first year we got about 200 pounds of nectarines off these trees. It was amazing. You know, when you're sitting there with that many nectarines on the table to try and decide precisely what you're about to do, it's a little bit profound. It really makes you stop and think about, in the olden days, what did they do? No power, you know, no electricity and what have you. Still, they made that stuff work. So I got high hopes for the nectarine trees and what we'll get out of them this year. Got some tomatoes here. Put up a tomato trellis just a little while ago, in fact. Last year I had African blue basil in the back row of those blue pots, and they created such a huge bush that they fell over forwards and covered up the peppers that I had in the front row of pots. So those African blue basils, I think I'm going to move them back into the back corner. I have them there for the bees, and so I'm going to move them back there with the bees. Again, I don't want them to shade out, some of my growing space and what have you, and that way the bees won't have to travel as far. So my wife will be happier if the bees stay farther away from the back door. What else do we got going back here? We've got some comfrey down here. Very nice chop and drop. We've got some prickly pear there. This is the kind of prickly pear that has no spinas, no pokies. So that's nice. You can grab them and kind of cut them up and throw them into a salad or what have you, or you can stir fry them, and they're like bell pepper. In fact, if you sliced them into strips and put them in a pan and kind of cooked them until they were a little bit soft, people would swear that they were bell peppers, both by flavor and by appearance. So here are my pollinators. They work very hard for me, and I try to be nice to them. Still learning. We'll see how that goes. Here's a Pakistan mulberry tree. I've had a little trouble keeping this thing upright in the past, but it looks like it's finally got the idea. I've got it staked up. It's got fruit on it. It makes these mulberries that are, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 inches long. Very yummy. So I got high hopes for those things. Got some more fruit trees back here. Have some banana trees on the other side of the house, and I'm tired of messing with them. We've gotten banana trees off them before, but they just take you know what? They're too sensitive to the cold. I'm tired of covering them up and babying them. So they're going to come out, and I've got a couple little fig trees here. I think one LSU purple, and the other I forget precisely what it is, but I love figs, and so we're going to do figs instead of bananas. Sugar cane, I did not harvest it like I should have, so I need to chop it down and clean it up. I even bought a sugar cane press and just didn't have time to get to the sugar cane. So hopefully this coming year I'll be able to press the sugar cane and make some of my own sugar, own brown sugar. That'll be kind of cool. Coming back through here, work area, I've got it around the corner so the wife can't see it. Again, happy wife, happy life. I do like keeping my tools out here. I know that's bad for them. I know they rust, but keeping them close by makes me happier. And this kind of gives me a workstation where I can have all my pots, pot things up, have a place to put things, some of my other tools nearby, keep them in a little container. So that's that. I do have some down low. I've got some truly tiny bananas. And I had these in the bathtub last year. And as far as foliage, they did great. They were so happy, but didn't get any bananas off them. So I'm kind of deciding if I'm going to keep them or if I'm going to become anti-banana. I think I'm going to move these into my aquaponics area, which we'll talk about some other time. It's back around the far side of the house and needs to be cleaned up before we do a tour of that. Coming around the side of the house, we have got more tomatoes, because I love tomatoes. Can't get enough tomatoes. Some lantana for the bees, a little aloe vera. Put a trellis up here a couple weeks ago. I want to do long beans on these. Also might do cucumbers. There's plenty of space there. So we'll make that work with some of our vines. Over here, yet another tomato because, like I said, I love tomatoes. And then another nectarine tree. Very nice. In fact, I'm thinking this was the first nectarine tree that we got, and I was so happy with how quickly it grew. It was amazing. I think at about the 2-year mark, it was producing fruit, like a lot of fruit. More rhubarb. I didn't think those rhubarbs were actually going to come up. They look like dead little sticks, but clearly they did. Got several of them, and now I have several, so I got to decide what to do with them. Got a raspberry plant. Found that at the store. Haven't had good luck with raspberries before, so we'll see. Jalapenos, we eat those things like candy. My wife is from El Paso, so lots of Mexican food, lots of peppers. A couple other flowers in the front. Partly the flowers are to appease my wife. I think in return for taking over the yard, I've put some color in there for her. And that seems to work for both of us. Big plumeria. You know what? I used to think I was a clever boy having such a big plumeria like this. And then we went to Singapore and they've got plumeria that are like 3 stories tall and nobody thinks twice about it. So that humbled me. That was good. I needed that. Peruvian apple cactus here. Hopefully that thing will make a fruit before I die of old age. It does a fruit kind of like a dragon fruit, supposedly. Never actually seen it, but I've got high hopes for that one as well. Some roses, some jasmine, and then one of our latest things is we actually pulled out some of the lawn and I seeded it with wildflowers. So both bluebonnets and a kind of meadow mix. I think the meadow mix had about 20 different flowers in it, but it's supposed to be a low-growing meadow mix with everything between 8 and 12 inches high. So I'm hoping to have my front yard actually do something for me. Ask me sometime and I'll be happy to rant for you on how useless American front yards are. I know it's a great sign of affluence, etc., but you know what? All it does is waste space, cost you money, and generate work. And that's bugged me for a long time, but I've been thinking, what if my bees could come over here and enjoy some wildflowers in the front yard? That would actually put the front yard to work for me. So we'll see how that goes. We've kind of roped that off so the lawn guys know where to mow and where not to mow. And that's what we got cooking. I do have a couple more little peach trees here. 2 peach trees in the front. The one on the left's a little small. I'm not quite sure what's up with him. I do want him to grow. I fertilized him nicely. And then I got a couple peach trees up against the house. Got mixed feelings about that. So we'll see how it goes.